Harbor Police and provided this information. 4 Harbor police officers moved into the area and began addressing the person that they had been directed to. As they were doing that, it appears the suspect did begin firing at them. He fired multiple rounds. 2 of the officers returned fire, striking the suspect. And as you know, one of the Harbor Police officers was struck in the thigh area. I do not have the latest information on his medical status. For that information, please reach out to Harbor Police. The 2 officers fired. As I said, the suspect was struck by gunfire. He was transported to a local hospital. He did pass away from his injuries from the gunshots. The officer, as I said, was transported to a hospital where he remains in treatment. The suspect that we have here at the scene, 26-year-old white male. At this point, we have a significant amount of witness statements from all the civilians in the area. We have a significant amount of evidence that we're gathering, physical evidence, video surveillance evidence. We are working through a lot of things and utilizing a lot of the resources of the San Diego Police Department. I do have 1 homicide team assigned to the double homicide over on Union, and I do have 1 homicide team assigned here working through the officer-involved shooting. There is a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of information that we have, and there's a lot more that we know we're gonna have. But that is the current status of it, and I will open up to questions. As I said, I wish I could share more at this point about what we know about the relationship between these 2 victims and the suspect, but until we've made the family notifications, I'm gonna have to hold that back. But I will open it up now. I'm sorry, I can't hear you at all. Yeah, I don't want to speculate at this point. Again, like I said, I believe it was targeted, but we're going to be gathering a lot of evidence from around that scene to hopefully pinpoint exactly what the suspect did leading up to it, during the shooting, and then after. We know that he went from there to here, and we're going to work on gathering the evidence, surveillance video, whatever it is, to figure out exactly what happened. You know, our goal is to know what happened and why, and I think that's always the goal in these. And as you know, when we have an officer-involved shooting, they're extremely transparent at the end of this, where we get a lot of information and are able to put it out. So I hope that when we do that, that you'll see that we've done a great job of putting together every little piece. But just too early, and I don't want to speculate.
Do you know the significance of that Union location? Why there?
Again, we're going to have to gather all the information. I can't comment any further at this point on that.
What can you tell us about the 26-year-old suspect? Obviously, do you know his name at this point? Do we know if he's from San Diego? What do we know?
Yeah, I believe everybody here has been positively identified by my detectives. But again, I'm not going to share anything else until we've had a chance to do notifications. And that's not just notifications on our victims, it's also notifying people that are connected with him, because we want to know what information they can provide to us. So it can be a little bit frustratingly slow, but it's only because we're managing a lot of things, which is we're managing this scene, we're managing everybody that we have to talk to. Here at this scene, we had, I mean, just dozens. The coffee shop was open, quite a few people to talk to. So it's just a management problem. Once we have them all secured, then I'll be able to share a lot more.
Was that suspect, the officer who was hit, did he fire his weapon?
No, he did not. Yeah, 2 of the other officers that were with him are the ones that fired at the suspect and struck him. The officer... The officer who was struck did not fire his weapon.
Do we know how the suspect got from point A to point B? Did he flee on foot or on a car?
Yeah, that's something that we're going to have to work through. And like I was explaining just a second ago, we're going to go through this pretty methodically, because we know he went from here to there. And we want to know how and what happened in between. And, you know, I mean, who knows if he threatened somebody else or what else happened. I don't know. It's our job to go out and find out, and that's what we'll be doing in the coming hours. As you know, we've been here all day. We'll be out here as long as it takes. We'll be working this area as long as it takes to figure out what happened, and just really, you know, try to pinpoint everything.
Targeted attack, but do you guys know anybody who was involved in this at all? Do you know the suspect prior to this, having contact with him or anything like that, or warrants looking for him or anything?
Yeah, I think at this point, Amari, thank you for the question. I'm just going to decline to comment. I can't give out too much on them until my detectives have had a chance to make contact with the people who are associated with them. So I appreciate the question, and I look forward to answering at some point. Just can't right now.
Lieutenant,
Brought enough
is
suspects and were the victims from San Diego?
My understanding is yes, everybody's from San Diego.
Lieutenant, is it a possible motive that you might be looking at that you can't confirm right now, this being a possible love triangle turned deadly?
I think the answer is we look at every motive, and we come in and look at every motive, and it's very important that we don't jump to any conclusions or dismiss any conclusions. And so everything's in play until we definitively rule things in and out. It's really our job, and these investigations are so rooted in fact. Like, what can we definitively prove without speculating? And so we just have to slow down. It's methodical, it's systematic, it takes a lot of resources and time, but that's what we do.
Were the victims shot from inside the vehicle or outside?
My understanding is they were inside the vehicle when they were shot. I have not been over there, but that's my understanding from talking to that investigative team.
Was the suspect inside the vehicle as well, or he shot from outside?
I don't know. Again, we're going to be gathering a lot of information to pinpoint everything that happened out there. There were a lot of witnesses there. There's a lot of video in that area, as there is everywhere downtown. Hopefully, once we gather all that, we'll be in a better position to be put out accurate information.
Was the vehicle parked?
I don't know. I haven't been over there.
So
I think it was stationary. Yes.
Is there anything that points if the victims were going to a court or something, or were just passing through? Nothing yet?
Yeah, again, there's so much I could say that I can't say right now, because again, we have to do our job and we have to make sure we get out, and it's the right thing. It's the same thing that would happen if any one of you was hurt or fell under my purview. I'm going to go talk to your family first before I talk to the media. That's just kind of the way it is, and I hope you can understand that. I hope it makes sense. It's the compassionate thing to do. It's the smart thing to do for an investigation. It can be frustrating, and I'm sorry for that.
Have you been on his social media yet? Have you accessed the suspect's social media?
I don't know. My detectives have been doing like the ground level stuff. They're doing everything right now, but you know, there's only so much we can do as we progress. We're going to do everything, yes.
Can you confirm the ages again?
Yeah, the two victims, 39 and 31, both Hispanic, male and female, and then the suspect, 26-year-old white male.
And just message to the community. This is a hotspot entertainment district. In fact, a lot of people like to go there. What message do you have to the community in terms of folks who may be a little concerned about coming down here?
Yeah, I think the main thing to see is, one, we don't believe this is a random attack. We do believe it's targeted. Also, we don't believe there's any existing threat to public safety. I will say, as far as traffic patterns, we're going to have this locked down still for quite some time to make sure that we get all the evidence, make sure that we document, you know, all the trajectories and everything that's involved, to make sure that we know when we release information that it's totally accurate. So this will be shut down for a little while, but again, no threat to public safety that's ongoing as far as we know. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I just want to connect. What time was the officer involved shooting? Do you have a timestamp for that?
Yeah, this was roughly like 9:06, just after 9. It was about 45 minutes after the initial homicide call.
Just to
Where
be
was the
clear,
suspect
do you
going?
not know how they got from downtown to Little Italy? You don't know if the suspect had a car or traveled by car? Could he have traveled by foot?
Yeah, at this point, that's something that we're going to have to figure out. How did he get from point A to point B? We know he was there, and we know he was here. So we're going to go and we're going to figure out how that happened and gather as much evidence about what happened as we can.
Where was the
Tell
suspect
us
shot?
what kind of weapon the suspect used to shoot the victims and how many weapons the suspect may have used?
I know that up by where the suspect was ultimately contacted, there is a firearm there. It looks like a semi-automatic handgun there. That's the only one I'm aware of at this point. But it is there along with discharged casings.
Where was the suspect shot?
I'm sorry?
Where was he wounded? I mean, the injury.
Do you mean on his person? Yeah, I don't know. He was hit multiple times, and like I said, ultimately he did die from his injuries.
Was he carrying any other weapons when he was shot?
I don't know.
Was he carrying any knives?
I don't know. You know, I don't know. I have a lot of good information about this, but again, It's high level. It's not granular. I'm not up actually processing the scene. You can see them behind me working. So everything that's there will be photographed, documented, collected, and then ultimately that information will get released. Anybody else?
That's it, huh?
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Oh, still.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Next up.
Hasta luego.